main chapters. The first one is about mini programs, what they are today. Second one is about how to set up analytics tracking for mini program. Third one is about different analytics solutions. So as I mentioned in Prelude, we have audited a few local analytics solutions to track your mini program. The first one is about how to tag a mini program. So that means what events, what clicks, what button you are able to track on mini program. The fifth one is about data visualization. So it's how you represent the data in dashboard so that you can analyze and better optimize your mini program. And the last one is about A/B testing in general. So quick word about mini programs today. So there is more than 4 million mini programs. WeChat is obviously the main player in that regard. So we have 1 million monthly active users. So in terms of representation, it's more than 78%. So when I did that presentation, we did the same white paper 3 years ago. We had 60% of users of WeChat that were using mini programs. Today it's 78, so it keeps increasing. And WeChat is by far the most popular app in the country, as you know. 4 million mini programs is twice more than the number of mobile apps in the Apple Store. So in just 4 years, in the space of 4 years, WeChat has managed to double up the number of apps compared to the Apple Store in terms of mini program. 450 million daily active users, 95% of brands have an e-commerce mini program, and 100 million mini game daily active users. So I have a slight experience working with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is one of the biggest game studios, and we work on a mini game for Ubisoft, actually 3 of them. And at a big peak, we had like 11 million daily active users. So just to represent how many people are actually playing games on WeChat mini game, WeChat mini program, it's actually the #1 revenue of Tencent in China. So 35% of the revenue of Tencent is made out of gaming. So mini program and mini game is a big chunk of the 4 million mini programs that you see. It keeps increasing, so you can see from 2019 to 2020 the number of monthly average users and the number of WeChat MP users used by months. So there is now more than 20 players that have a mini program. Huawei, Oppo, Vivo, Alipay, Baidu, they all have a mini program today. What is interesting is what they do and how you use it. For example, you use a QR code for COVID, right, to show your green QR code. This is a mini program. Alipay, WeChat, both are mini programs. Today, there is a bit of focus between WeChat, Alipay, and Baidu. So Baidu, you might not realize it, but if you use Baidu app, for example, and you search for news, mini program will come first. That's why mini program is very, very popular and getting more traction. And in terms of different industries, so as I mentioned, WeChat is very strong in game, but also daily services, e-commerce for brands. So it's replacing the website. Alipay is more for daily services, utilities, and Baidu is more for content. It's content related. You search for a keyword, and then you get it in a mini program. So in terms of representation, mini program remains a major traffic source, and you can see 4 big players, mostly local. And what really interests me is Shanfeng. So Shanfeng is 8% of mobile app users versus mini program. So of course, you imagine when you receive delivery or you buy something on Taobao, then you get the Shanfeng on your phone, or if you deliver Papiao, for example, then you get Shanfeng on your phone. So mini program is 92%, and that's the way to express the traffic. We work with one of their competitors, a US-based company, and they didn't have any mini program, not even WeChat. So they had a website, and they were losing a lot of money by not having mini program, obviously, when their competitor, 92% of their users use mini program. So this is a few players. Ulama And I like this sentence about Wenlu that say mini program e-commerce will become the largest e-commerce eras in China, following traditional e-commerce, social commerce, WeChat commerce, and live commerce. So what does it mean? It means that mini program are replacing more and more website in a way. So website, e-commerce website for international brands was really popular still 10 years ago, right? Then mini program have replaced and are changing the way that brands consider their presence online. So it's mobile, it's social, so it's very different than if you talk about a showcase website. I will skip this one. This is what's the difference in terms of user experience, why mini program is working, right? For a brand, why they invest more in mini program e-commerce than on a website, e-commerce website. Because the user flow and the way to get to purchase is much more instant. Mini program is based on fear of missing out, it's based on instant purchase, it's based on social. So the time and the number of pages that you will see before purchasing is usually much less than if you download an app, then you log in, register, you go to the home page, shopping cart, and so on. So mini program you can share to a friend, you can purchase directly, you share a ticket to this event, then you purchase directly, right? So it's the same kind of user flow. So it's much faster and obviously based on sharing. There is many ways to use some tricks to increase your customer retention and I would say conversion rate. So usually what brands do is that when people don't buy on the mini program, they send a notification message to say, hey, here is a 10 kuai coupon for your purchase. Finish your purchase now, you have 15 minutes. And so that's a way to trigger. This is based on retargeting, on CRM, social CRM, that you know that this person, like Rachel, added to their carts and then didn't purchase. So you send a templated message, notification, SMS that link back to the mini program to finish the purchase with potential incentive. So this is what we call retargeting, remarketing. So I was mentioning about mini program versus website, right? So this is a trend. This is actual numbers between 2016 and 2020. So you see that website was still popular 4 years ago and now is slowing down, obviously. So it's like 50% decrease when we look at the numbers between 2018 and 2021, if you look at the latest numbers. So mini programs are getting more and more popular than website, and website is becoming less popular. So this is a bit the boring topic, but very important topic. There is a new law in China starting from November 1st, which is called the PIPL, Personal Information Private Law. So the law says that basically every data that you collect from your customers, users, should be stored in China. So this is a bit a rough representation. A lawyer would kill me for saying that. But pretty much that's the way that you should see it. If you collect a Chinese consumer on your website in Europe, this is not compliant. So in Europe, we had the GDPR, for example. It's very similar to the GDPR, even a bit stricter than the GDPR. So this new law has changed a bit the way that we see things, and there was another one in 2018 called the CSL, Cyber Security Law. The CSL was already applied, but it was not as important as the latest one. So what it changed is that, for example, an international brand leveraging Salesforce, HubSpot, any Western solution now is not compliant. So of course there is a huge risk in terms of fine. So the fines can go up to 3 million RMB, for example. But not only because you need to, if the government decide to, okay, show me your data inventory, do you have this? And if you don't, then you might have a risk to get sanctioned by the law. So this is a huge topic that has drastically changed the environment and the system that brands are using today. So that's why some huge groups today are shifting away from Salesforce to more local solutions. This is all about the licenses. So you will have the white paper after already available online. I want to talk about performance and about optimization. So yes. So there is one thing when you build your mini program, it's about plugin and solutions. So there is plenty of solutions that you can use for VR. For example, I was working with a co-working space. The co-working space, boom, COVID hits, right? And then they wanted to show the office space on the mini program. For this, I was saying we will be too expensive to build this. So use a third-party solution that is 360 VR plugin to showcase the office space. So you can actually see on your phone, go to the different offices in Shanghai, Chengdu, Beijing, and see the office. So that was a way to show VR, so we call about VR. But what is important is that there is plenty of solutions that are used today. AR, for example, when you try sneakers try-on mini programs, this is a third-party solution. This is a plugin. In average, based on my research, most of the mini programs use between 5 and 10 third-party plugin solutions. So the risk of leveraging plenty of third party is not to be able to access to the data in one specific place. So on WeChat, you have a way to access to plugin. So the one that I was saying about VR is 720 yuan. It costs 2,000 RMB, obviously, so very, very cheap for the brand. And you can have a 360 tour of the space. So for this, there is plenty of solutions that you can actually use on mini program. It's not you need to build everything by yourself. You can put your mobile website on the mini program. As long as it's ICP licensed, meaning hosted in China, then you can host it on mini program. There is plenty of sources that you can connect and identify on WeChat. So between the official account backend, so that's what the brands are the most interested about. How many followers do we have, and how many of these followers are actually purchasing on the mini program. But there is also all the systems that you can connect to, social CRM, and CDP, for example. So 5 years ago, I was working mostly on analytics solution together with Mariam. 5 years ago, it was only me. But in terms of analytics solution, you can track the behavior of your customers, meaning how many people see this page and leave directly. This is called bounce rate, for example. So what is interesting now is to mix that with database. So I think we have been underestimating the value of databases and the data that you can get from your customers. Linking that with the behavior is super powerful and very interesting to optimize the performance of e-commerce, of your mini program or your campaign. So this is why this is a KPI that you look at, that usually you check, and if it mixes together, then it's perfect to optimize. We've been working on this for hospitality clients. So on how we would integrate this, what would be the ecosystem to build mini program for them. So you can see on the left, I will describe a little bit. But we planned on leveraging their website that they had originally for 4 websites in that case. And we planned on making one specific mini program for booking, all right? So this mini program for booking would be connected to one unique booking engine. But they have many locations and many type of hotels, as I would call it today. And so this is important to gather all the same data, so that I'm able to identify who is coming to this Jamaica Blue or the other one in another location, right? So one unique booking engine instead of leveraging different third-party solutions or different booking engines, which is what many brands are doing. including very, very big ones. And this would be connected to what we call a middleware, which is a platform to collect and gather all the data, and notably the transaction data. Transaction and customer data are usually the most important, and that's what we track. Very quickly on this, so this is a screenshot from Tencent Yosho, which is a big data platform from Tencent. Okay, so what is interesting about this platform in particular, and I will be very quick, is about the possibility to integrate with offline. So to see the store performance of your brand. So you can see how much revenue and connect that with potentially media buying, with traffic, and other sources of data. So it's getting very, very popular. And so on how you do a setup of your analytics, so usually, for example, a brand will do campaign involving KOL costs, right? So I spend on the KOL, this KOL brings me traffic on this mini program, and I want to see the conversion. So what we do is we try to do unique QR code for each KOL, each platform, each post, each click that could be, to really identify what is the best source of traffic. So for example, a KOL will promise you, I will bring you 100,000 users on your mini program. This is unlikely true. So it's very possible that indeed the KOL brings 256 people on this mini program. So this is why it's interesting to optimize your performance and to track every aspect, every post, everything that you can see will be identified here. So on the dashboarding on the right, you can also see from official account, you can track which click in the menu would be the traffic be coming from. So meaning here we identify the search engine, for example, how many people search for my brand, how many people come from the official account. Very likely the official account, everyone believes official account is always the source of traffic. It's not true at all. Official accounts are usually between 10 and 15%. So sharing is actually one of the most important, together with, of course, and sharing, I mean group chat, right? So when you share in a group chat, it's called sharing, right? So obviously this is one of the most source of acquisition. And so when you do a campaign, that's usually the to-do list on how we track the performance on mini program. So this is very technical, so I will skip it, but there is a big part about Union ID, which is an identifier of WeChat. And so that's why usually, so you can have 10 mini programs. Many brands have between 5 and 10 mini programs. One for e-commerce, one for store locator, one for clienteling, one for campaign, for example. So the Union ID helps you to collect if Marianne went to this mini program and then jumped to another mini program and click on this page and wanted to buy this product. So Union ID is technical, but it's the kind of unique ID for a mini program. And so why mini program is better than a website? That's always the question, right? Why websites are slowing down and mini program are increasing? It's mostly also because of data collection. So the way we've done a campaign for UEFA, so for the one who like football, Champions League. So we work on two solutions at the same time. One mini program, one H5. So we were able to compare both, right? The main objective for the client was to gather as much data as possible of Chinese users. The KPI was 100,000 Chinese users data, at least either phone numbers or login or unique ID, right? Union ID, sorry. So why is it more popular? Because in one click, you can get the mobile number, right, on mini program. While if you look at H5, you log in with WeChat, you log in with Weibo, there is at least 2 or 3 steps, right? So you need to, for example, this is a Weibo login. So you click here, then you need to log in, then you need to accept, it redirects, and so on. So there is big drop-off. So in average, 80% of the users are clicking on yes. I think this will change with the new law, but 80% conversion rate, I think there is many brands that are dreaming of this usually, of getting a mobile number, 80% chance. So obviously that's why it's very popular, because people don't really think, oh yeah, I'm leaving my mobile number, I can be called and so on. So this is the KPIs that we identify. And so this is my good friend of mine that I was mentioning, that is working in data in a big international group. So what he says is whether it helps you comply with the PIPL or because you need to collect granular data. So I was mentioning about unique ID, about your consumers and injecting it in a data platform, choosing the right local analytics solution is for your mini program is a more strategic decision today than it was 2 years ago. Why is it a strategic decision today? It's because of all the new law that everything needs to be stored here. So you cannot really use anymore all the Western solution that you use for CRM and analytics purpose. So that's very good way to transit to the benchmark. And I will be very quick about it, but there is many solutions on available in China. And these are all the solutions, all right? So I will be very quick and I will recommend a few depending on who you are and what you do, okay? So this one, for example, is free. So free, Tencent, the mini program analytics native solution is free. Then there might be a fee after a certain number of events, but this one is free. So you can do custom tracking, custom tagging. And it's usually, I would say, it's still not the most popular. If we look at the people before, the big group, they're using another one which is here. And this one is more likely between 15,000 to 20,000 per month. So it's a cost, right? Paying 20,000 RMB for a local analytics solution, still a cost. But there is plenty of them. We use this one that was free at the beginning and then became freemium. So there is plenty of solutions that are very, very popular in the market. Growing.io, for example, is very popular. Sensors, Juger. These are all very popular analytics solutions. They all do pretty much the same thing, which is allowing you to analyze and optimize your performance on mini program. If you are a startup, I would definitely recommend going for the free one and Aladdin because it's a bit better than the native one. Usually the native solutions from WeChat are not the best. And then if you are a middle, I would say SME, then I would definitely recommend to go for, of course, all the Baidu, Juger, and Growing.io. So this Growing.io is still very expensive now. It's between 20 and 30,000, right? Something like this, in average, yeah. And so there is no big advantages between each of these platforms. 5 minutes? Is it okay? 2 minutes, okay. All right, my bad. So this is a benchmark with all the features that you can have a look at afterwards to make your decision on which solution is the best for you. So there is a big question about Google Analytics, and I was asking a cybersecurity firm no later than 2 days ago for us. So, you know, and they told me, so I asked again, can we use Google Analytics in China? And then he said, no, obviously. And so it's very, very difficult because the law doesn't express and doesn't tell you very clearly, no, it's not possible to use Google Analytics in China. So the week before, I was with IT people in a conference, and the compliance responsible was saying, no, there is nothing in the law that tell you you cannot use Google Analytics in China. So you see, it's very hard to interpret the law. What I would recommend is definitely to shift away from any analytics solution because probably sooner or later it's going to be officially not being able to use. So what we do for now, we still use Google Analytics. We double track, so meaning you can have several analytics solutions. You can have as many as you want if you want. So what we do is we double track with Baidu, for example, which is free, to make sure that we have both local and Western. And then we connect with a dashboarding solution, so Power BI, Data Studio, any BI solution that you want to use. And so to finish, we did a tagging plan template. So for example, if you did your mini program, if you built your mini program, then we offer as a giveaway a way to see how you can track and what you can track on your mini program. So this is something that you can download after the event. And some tagging example references that you can see here on how we track e-commerce and non-e-commerce mini program, which is a very different way of tracking, and how then you interpret it in a visualization way. So meaning that how you connect this data to BI solution. So this is example of Data Studio and Power BI on how we interpret the data. Data visualization is just an Excel file shown beautifully on a BI tool. There is nothing revolutionary, right? So what is interesting is always think, what do my stakeholders will want to see when they open this link? What is the thing that will catch their attention, that they stay at least 2 minutes on checking the numbers? And this is already a win, usually. So this is example of dashboarding. You can have a look on how we did it, what kind of KPI we put, the scorecard. There is more than 60 ways of interpreting the data in a dashboard, from scorecard to graph to pie chart. So there is plenty of way to do your own way of visualizing the data. And so a quick word on the A/B testing, and I will be done. So there is plenty of analytics solution, a bit less. I mean, compared to analytics solution, we had 25 here. We found 5 on the market, and they are not all free, obviously. And there is not many brands that are doing A/B testing. A/B testing is the way of comparing page A versus page B with slight differences between page A and page B. For example, a button color can improve a conversion rate or a purchase by 20%. And just the color. I made it like 5 years ago on the booking engine website. We changed from green to red, and boom, plus 20%. So there is many ways of doing A/B testing, and these are a few examples and solutions that are available. And that's all. You can follow our WeChat account, get the white paper if you are interested. And we have many white papers, including the latest one on the PIPL, which we work with cybersecurity firm, with lawyer, to really deep dive into this law, to use valuable insight on how you should comply with the new law. Thank you so much, Marianne, for welcoming me, and thank you everyone for attending.